And we are recording. So again, welcome to our Tuesday tour tonight. This is an opportunity for me to be able to answer any questions that you have, show you around the online itinerant, and I'm going to show you what I'm doing inside the online itinerant and some of the hacks that I have and how I use the toolbox and some of the trainings. I want to make sure that I honor you and your questions tonight. So do me a favor, if you are coming in with any hot burning questions, anything on top of your mind, anything you really hope that I answer for you tonight. Will you put that in the chat for me so that I can ensure I have time to be able to do that tonight? So again, if there are any questions, anything that you have kind of hot on your mind that you are just really hoping that I answer tonight, please just go ahead and put that in the chat so that I can make sure to have enough time to address that tonight. Tonight, one of the things that I want to show you is how I embed the listening and reading comprehension into my lessons, but I embed it with my self-identity. I embed it with self-identity, and I'm going to show you a bunch of tools that we have inside of the toolbox to show you how to do that or how I do it. And I personally really use this. This is a great way that I take advantage and build some self-identity and some self-esteem. I've got a lot of IEP goals. I have a lot of IEP goals that address those things, but I know a lot of people say to me that they don't have self-identity IEP goals. Some school districts say they have to have their goals academic. And of course, there are many reasons why you would want to make sure that you have some self-identity and some self-advocacy goals and those and that forth. But sometimes we just are confined, right? Sometimes we're just confined by the limitations that we have. And so I'm going to show you how to kind of double dip these things. So again, I do want to invite you. You are welcome to turn your cameras on during this. You don't have to though, but it is always nice for me to know that I actually have people that I'm visiting with and chatting with. So I personally love it. But again, it is late at night and you don't have to. But let me just share my screen. Oh, let me see. I do see a couple questions before I go. Okay, great. And I do see that there is a question that real quick before we go, before we move on, and the question is about about a school district purchasing the program. And I want you to know that anytime a school district purchases the online itinerant for you, you will get an email. You should get an automatic email from me that's welcoming you into the program. Hopefully your school district will let you know this as well. So as we dig in, I am going to share my screen and we are going to go right to the website tonight. And the website is the onlineitinerant.com. So hopefully you are familiar with this website. Uh, Make sure we are sharing those. My sharing has stopped. That's strange. Okay, here we go. Okay, so if you can see my screen, can you let me know? Put it inside the chat that you are good, that you can see the screen. Let me know we're all on the same page. Yes, yes, yes. Great. Thank you. Thank you. So first of all, I want to invite you to come to the website frequently and always check kind of what's happening in the banner. That's this up here. This is kind of tells you what's going on and what our newest things are. By the way, you are joining us for Tuesday tour. But T days are TOI days, the online itinerant. So Tuesdays and Thursdays. So just remember Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Tuesday is the day we come here. I'm going to show you around what's inside the account, everything that we have to offer. Thursdays are our member days. So the first night of the month is our monthly training. It's a bonus training. It happens live. And this Thursday is our live training. And members have access to this for free. Now, you don't have to be a member. You can purchase it, but it is always a great training. And this month is no exception. Here is our advertisement for it. The training is called The Perez Case. What went wrong? Learning from Perez v. Sturgis. So this is a recent court case that went all the way to the Supreme Court. And it is about a deaf student who needed an interpreter, but the school could not find an interpreter. He needed a program, but the school did not have a deaf and hard of hearing program. So the school provided him with an aide that was supposed to sign and was learning sign and created some sign, and an itinerant teacher who worked with the student. And then they put him in special education classes and mainstream classes. And although the plan maybe seemed like it was an appropriate plan, it was actually, there were some things that went awry, shall we say. There were some things that did not go like we would want them to go. And ultimately, the school district was determined to have denied the student FAPE. And it's kind of having a real ripple effect in deaf education right now, because truthfully, this this happens. This is happening. And you want to attend the training so that you can learn the details of the specific training, also learn how we can avoid this from happening, and how you, as the DHH teacher, as a parent, as anybody on that team, can just advocate for the student and make sure that the needs are being met. So this is happening on Thursday. You definitely don't want to miss it. Okay, so in addition, that's the first Thursday of the month. The second Thursday of the month for members are our power hours. So our power hours are when the professional power hour, we come together and we ask the questions. We dig through the challenges. We say, hey, do you have any resources for this situation? Hey, what do you recommend for that situation? Hey, this is my student. I'm kind of stuck. Not sure what to do. And we just get together as a community and we share and we support and we grow. So this happens the second Thursday of the month for professionals. The third Thursday of the month, it's for parents. It's for parents. We have over 100 parents in our parent program right now. What a great opportunity for them to come and have the same process. Like, hey, I've got questions about this. What's a 504? What's an IEP? Should my child be dismissed from speech services? What do I need to know about how do we do swimming classes? What type of technology should I be advocating for? So it's a great opportunity for parents. And then the fourth Thursday of the month is back to professionals again. So this Thursday, it happens to be each month for November and December, our holiday. But we've got that second Thursday of the month for professionals. So just know Thursdays tend to be our member nights. Tuesday is open to anybody and everybody. If you are curious about what the online itinerant offers, if you want to share it with somebody, please invite them in. And I am just super thrilled that you are here and viewing this at this time. Okay, so once you get to the website, you want to make sure that you log in to your account. Now you'll be able to tell if you're logged in because you'll have a little icon here and it will show you that you are logged in. So if you have anything from the online itinerant, you can click on my library and it will bring you to everything that you have inside your accounts, everything that you have access to. So just a quick little description of what we've got here, because it looks a little bit different maybe from what you've seen, because there's been some slight changes. So I'm just going to quickly go through all of these and then we're going to dig in a little more specifically. So first of all, as a member of the Professional Academy or the Friend Academy, you've got some decent access to me. You can email me, you can hop in here, we've got our professional power hours. But some people want more, they need more for any reason. And if you ever just want one-on-one time with me just to ask specific questions or get specific support, mentoring, coaching, I am available for more. So you always have that opportunity. The user guides, these are documents that kind of hone in specifically for specific things that maybe you want to know. This is something that's new this year and it's building. So we've got a number of user guides inside right now, but we will be adding more as the year goes. This is our keeping track of your completed trainings. There are a lot of trainings inside the online itinerant. I think we have more than 50. So it can be confusing what you've done, what you haven't done, what you've started, what you finished. So this is a way for you to know what you have completed. And you can also look and see what you want to do. So anytime you have completed a training, you can go into this section and then you can put a check on it to show that you have done it. So you would click on it and you would mark the lesson as done. And then then when you look at it again, you will see, let me just refresh my page. You'll see a check mark right here. So this is a nice way for you to kind of go and see what you've done and maybe what you would like to do. If you want to complete a training, then you can click here and it will take you directly, or it should take you directly to the training. So then you can just watch it and take a little shortcut to that training. So that is something that you also have available to you. Our register for our tea days, this is anytime that you want to register for our Tuesday tour or for one of our Thursdays, one of our member days, then you can come here and you can register. And then whether you are a member of the Professional Academy or the Friend Academy, you have not only the tea days, but you have the toolbox and the bonus trainings. If you're a Professional Academy member, you've got our on-demand trainings, and you've got this section that says add your families, which means you get free memberships to all of the families on your caseload to the Friend Academy. Now, if you are a parent, that's our parent program. If you are a parent in the Friend Academy, then you have these trainings here, or you have these sections here, plus you've got the Friend Academy, and then you've got some turn knowledge into action. If you're a professional, once you add your families to the Friend Academy, you also have these same trainings. Something that's a little bit different now is you'll notice there's less right here because we've cleaned out the dashboard and made it a little less overwhelming for you. The credit options are no longer a part of your dashboard unless you want them to be a part of your dashboard. So just to talk about credits for those professionals out there who need continuing education credits, we offer loads of options here. So we have got the online itinerant. You automatically get a certificate of training when you complete that. But we also now have Act 48, which is for Pennsylvania. We've got AG Bell. We've got ASHA. We've got CTLE from New York. We've got ISBE from Illinois. We've got graduate credit, and we've got RID, and there's more coming. So what happens is if you want the credits, then you click on it and you will, whoops, that's not right. Let me try this again. I will check that link, but you click on it and you will go to the section. All you have to do is put in your email, the phone number, and you get it for free. But we're not going to clog up your dashboard if you don't need Illinois credits. So it will then be on the dashboard. At this point, all of these options, with the exception of graduate credit, is free for you. Now there might be some changes with that as we have to often pay for the credits. So if the credits become, too expensive for us to pay, then there might be a slight charge for you to get a specific credit. But at this point, there is no additional charges. Okay, any questions about credits before I dig into the sections of the toolbox that I wanted to show you tonight? Just open up the chat and see if there are any credit questions. Okay, I am not seeing any credit questions. Fantastic. So tonight, what I want to show you is I want to talk to you about listening comprehension, reading comprehension, and self-identity. These are two big things that I try to really dig into often with my students. And first of all, I want to point out a few trainings that are really nice trainings for you. These are the ones I'm going to start here are the professional trainings. So these are targeted towards teachers and what you do in the classroom to support these needs. But what I want to show you is when you click on here, here are our categories of trainings. So we have got assessments, IEP and legal considerations, collaboration and mainstreaming, deaf and other considerations, itinerant teaching, language and literacy, self-advocacy and transition, social and emotional development, and technology. Now, just so you know, we're always growing, we're always gaining more trainings inside each section. What I want to show you here is inside language and literacy. Great trainings in here, but the one I want to highlight for you tonight is this one right here, building speech perception skills during academic instruction. This is a master class. This is actually a 3-hour training. And this is presented by Julia West. She is the co-author of The Spice for Life. And what she's talking about in this training is how to work with kids that are in the school system. So kindergarten through 12th grade, how we build in those listening comprehension skills and that word discrimination when they're older, So it's really geared towards the mainstream setting. And this is a really fantastic training to check out if you have hard of hearing kids who are maybe struggling in their classes. They struggle with listening comprehension. They're struggling with some reading comprehension. This one is especially geared towards that listening comprehension and especially geared towards kids who use listening and spoken language. Um, if you're working with kids who sign, then I can't recommend highly enough the vocabulary principles for effective instruction. And this is really kind of builds in some listening comprehension for our signing kids. And that has some great ideas and some great strategies for you. The other training I want to show you, or the other section of trainings that I want to show you, is in the social and emotional development section. And this is kind of where we call into the self-identity section. I'm going to highlight the creating peers when there are no peers, and the impact theory of mind on hearing loss. These are two really great ones that if you want to know more about how do I support a student's self-identity, who they are, self-advocacy skills, these are some great trainings to be able to see. Okay, so once you feel confident about what you're targeting and what you want to do, then I want to point out to you some sections of the toolbox. Now, right now, this toolbox, when you log into it, you're going to see all of the things. And there are a lot of activities inside this toolbox, and it's always building. But what I want to point out to you, we're going to get to it next, is the new self-identity IEP goal bundle. All right, so inside of here, you are going to see an assessment to help identify the self-identity needs. Then there are clickable or copy paste IEP goals that you can go straight, just copy paste them. You've got your goals and your objectives for self-identity. And then there's even the clickable lessons that will take you right from your goal to your activity, So I'm going to show you that in a minute. But tonight, I am going to scroll down to the section that is on self-identity. You will see there are lots of activities inside of here. Here we are, self-identity and social emotional. So this tool right here, if you just kind of want to know what in the world do we have in here, you can click on this. This will give you all the tools and you can click right on them, and it even kind of explains each tool. So I can give you a little peek at this. So this is a clickable page. So you can see what is the activity, and and then you can click directly on it and you can go right there to the activity. So this is a quick way to see what all we have got. Whoops. Oh boy. I'm scrolling here. Well, lost my page. It's okay, because anytime you lose your page, you just go back to your library and we'll go right back to where we were. Okay. So let me go back to our self-identity section. There we are. Self-identity and social emotional. So I showed you how you can just do a quick peek at everything. And the lesson I want to show you tonight is this one right here. What do kids want to know about being deaf? So I actually need to reshare. I need to stop my share and reshare it because I don't think I clicked on my audio. So let me make sure that we've got the audio that you'll be able to see and hear. There we go. And this is a super cute short video, short YouTube video. Let's see.
I see that you're.
It is under 8 minutes long. And this is where a bunch of elementary age kids interview an adult who has hearing loss, who is deaf. So I'm just going to play this for a second. We won't watch the whole thing, but I'm going to give you a glimpse of this. Now, when I do this, I'm working on my auditory comprehension skills, my listening comprehension skills for this. So I have my student listen to this. I might pause it in the middle. I might ask comprehension questions. I've kind of preloaded this. I let them know what we're listening for, and then we watch the
Doing
video.
sign language. I think I know. Are you deaf?
Hi.
Hello. My name is Steven.
My name's Carolina. Hi, I'm Crystal. What's your name?
My name is Nikki.
I like that name.
Thank you.
Me too.
You just coffee, so I said.
No.
How old are you? Old enough to be your mom.
Old enough to be your mother.
I'm 11.
What are we gonna do today?
Today, you're gonna meet a deaf person. Do you know what deaf means?
A deaf person is a person that can't hear.
Right. So I use an interpreter.
So this is it's a super cute video. The kids ask very honest questions. They giggle with Nikki. She shows them her technology. She talks about using an interpreter. She talks about how she lost her hearing, and the kids are absolutely fascinated by it. They love meeting her. So I show this video and we talk about it, and then we have an activity with this video. So we have our discussion questions, and this is a great way to kind of review and build in to their experience and her experience. So what questions did the kids ask Nikki? Has anyone asked you any of the same questions? And then you just kind of go through, and it does a little bit um of some of the like reflection for this, for your child, for your students to think about and to respond to the same way. So, and the question, like, did the kids like learning about Nikki? What do you have in common with her? What would you ask her? Did you like the video? And then this is a downloadable and fillable worksheet. So you can fill it out with the students on the computer, or you can print it and have them do it like, printable and send it home, or do it at home. You can do it either way. So this is just one example of one of the activities that I use to incorporate the self-identity and social emotional, being able to identify, see what people really want to know, and then ask my students to kind of reflect upon this at the same time. My students really, really love this activity. It's really fun. It's really easy. And they like meeting another deaf person as well. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to fast forward to our self-identity IEP bundle. I want to show you what this looks like because when you click inside of this, you can see there are 3 different sections to this bundle. We've got the skills checklist and the lessons. So this is our assessment, and then how you can complete the assessment if you need an activity or if you need that need questions to be able to ask. But then from there, then we've got the goals, and that is copy paste, and then we've got the data collection form. So I'm just going to show you what this looks like. And you can make your own copy of this assessment. It does give check boxes for you so that you can check off what a student is able to do. Instead of a bullet, it's a checkbox. And you can see the skills that we're looking for. So this is really kind of this particular goal bank is kindergarten through 12th grade. Our young kids were not really, this happens a little bit more naturally. We don't need to have as focused lessons with this, but these are specific lessons for kindergarten through 12th grade. So for example, the child can name at least 2 other people who have hearing loss and at least 1 similarity or difference between themselves and these people. So each one of these sections here can kind of digs into this particular lesson. So if a child does not have the skill, then these are activities that you can teach the skill. And this first one here, the unit, we actually have about, I want to say 20. Let me just click on it and show you. This is all different lesson plans on different people who have hearing loss. And we have all different communication modes. I often get the question, are there any hard of hearing role models in here? Yes, we've got lots of hard of hearing role models in here. We've got younger, we've got older, we've got different ethnicities. We've got all, we've got the whole spectrum. Inside each lesson, there is a video. There is a video. There is a reading or some type of comprehension that we do. Again, this is another example. We watch the video and I dig into that listening comprehension. We ask the questions. We do the skills with this. Then if I want to do reading comprehension, then here is our reading lesson. So I can do the reading comprehension here. But then for almost every one of these, we've got this learn what you have in common. And then they can compare and contrast how are they similar to this other person. And so then it builds in this identity of, hey, I'm not the only person, or you learn about other people and how they communicate or what their hearing loss is. And there's always the discussion of how a person lost their hearing, how they communicate. There's usually something about some kind of frustration or something that they've had to overcome. And then there's usually a way that they have overcome it. And then there's always something encouraging and inspiring about that person. So again, we've got these built into our, we've got it built into, there we go, built into each one of the lessons. I'm going to zip. I know last week I showed you some of these beginning skills. I'm going to zip a little bit further down and show you what this looks like. After you go through each section, you can get a score, how they're doing, and this makes our IEP goals really easy to copy and paste. So here are some more advanced skills. The child can name and describe at least 3 different accessibility features and devices used by hard of hearing and deaf people. So again, we've got a training that they can view, that you can view, and then lots of different activities that have this topic built into it. And you'll notice some of them overlap actually. Lots of skills often overlap. So once you've identified what skills they have and what they need, then we can go back and we can go to the audit proof goals. And each number is directly correlated. So let me see if I can go back here again. So for example, if I am going to go to, let's see, intermediate skills, and we want to work on this first number one under the intermediate skills, they can respond appropriately to tell me about your deafness by responding with at least two elements. They can explain their hearing loss and how it impacts them or their feelings related to it. So if that's the skill that we are working on, so that's intermediate one, then we can go right to this audit proof goal and you can find the intermediate one right here. Here's our objective. By the date, when given a statement such as tell me about your deafness, while working with, and I have this in here intentionally, the title of the professional, that's where you can put the teacher of the deaf and hard of hearing so that we know that you are the person who gets to work on this with your students. But this is your exact, you copy paste it and you modify it to be for your students. And then you can make things, you can up accuracy, you can lower accuracy, you could do however you want, but here is your IEP goal right there. And then the other thing I want to make sure that you see is the data collection form that I have for you. So you'll download your own copy, but here you go. You're going to check this twice a year and you just check yes or no. How are they doing with it? So this is your data collection and you've got one for all the skills. So you can just keep track of when a student has completed the skills. Okay, I want to pause for a second and I want to take a look at the different questions that we have had come up. Let me come up to let me just go to my library because I might be showing you some different things in here. And I'm going to go back up to the beginning when I asked if you had any questions or anything that I wanted to make sure that I addressed tonight. And the first question that I'm seeing is, are age-appropriate goals for 3-year-olds who are severely delayed? So, Laura, I want to just address that and say there are, but it depends on what skills you're looking for and what you're working on. So the 3 goal banks that we have right now, we've got transition. So that wouldn't be for 3-year-olds, but it does start, the transition skill starts in middle school. And then we've got self-identity and self-advocacy. Now the ones that are coming next, we're going to have language, both auditory language, and we're going to have signed language. And then we're going to have use of an interpreter. So when we get the language goals out there, I think those are probably going to be geared directly towards what you're looking for. But this is a perfect example of what you want to look for, what you want to come to a power hour and say, here's my kiddo. Because one of the things that you're mentioning is that they're severely delayed. So there's, many different skills that you can be working on. What does that mean exactly? So come into the power hour and let's discuss your students specifically and share some ideas and some resources and activities. So Kimberly wanted to make sure that I addressed tonight. How do I show that DHH students that they are missing things or working harder to listen? Do we have any activities for this? So yes, actually the training that I showed you, the one about working on here we go, in your on-demand trainings, inside of here, the training that I showed you, that was Julia West on building right here, speech perception goals. Let me just, have it on my favorites right now because that's one of the ones that I'm listening to. So you're going to go to language and literacy. And you're going to go to building speech perception skills during academic instruction. This particular training has got some fantastic ways and lessons of how you can show your students like where their challenges are. And you can work with them and you can target that specifically. So for example, there are activities in here where you take their textbook that they have, their science textbook, and you are reading from it and they have to repeat what they're hearing. right? They have to repeat what they're hearing. And we're going to do that for a little while. And we're going to talk about, how difficult is that? Are you exhausted? Did you hear? And it's some of these academics, such as like the sciences, you really start to realize the word discrimination that students are required to have. And just the challenges are there. So that is definitely a training I would highly recommend for you to check out. The other thing that I want to point out to you, I'm going to go to the teaching toolbox here. And depending on their age and depending on their needs, we've got some great activities in the, scroll down here, the auditory skills section. So on the when we've got auditory processing is like following directions. It should be called working memory because you can use this with signing students or listening and spoken language students. But the section that is the auditory training, this is very specific towards listening and spoken language. So there are some good activities in here that kind of hone in on that. But if you've got an older student, then I would recommend the activities in that training. Okay. I'm going back. The question is, I have a new student, age 3. She is not speaking or communicating. They plan to assess for AU, but what goals and assessments are appropriate for me to use? So that's a great question. She is really little. So she is yes, age 3. So she is age 3. So you are absolutely going to want to go to the assessment and you're going to want to observe her. So let me just go to the assessments section and I want to show you the Kendall proficiency scales. I really like this assessment. I'm going to peek it open and show you. This is about communication. And it starts at level 0, so 0 to 12 months. And it kind of gets a sense of how that student, how they're following communication. It even tells you like that they, does the child communicate about his own comfort, pleasure, or distress non-verbally? Can you see the expression? So by the way, the question about the young child Laura, your question about 3 who is severely delayed, this is a great tool for you to look at and to look at some goals and some things to work on. So in any case, this is a great assessment to identify the child's communication and where they're at, even starting from 0, even starting from age 0. So you can get some real nonverbal information. And I would observe them. I would use the OTME, which is the observation tool for mainstreaming. You'll have to you won't use all of it because the child is so young, but you'll want to look and see how are they communicating and how are they doing in the classroom. So this is the observation tool for mainstream. So that's what I would recommend. That's inside the toolbox. Okay. I'm looking to see what else we have in here. Oh, and going back, there had been a question earlier about how do I know if my school district has purchased an account for me? So half of the memberships from the online itinerant are purchased from school districts through purchase orders. And what happens is I get the purchase order. As soon as I get the order, I enter you into the academy and you should get an email. Then I email the school district and I say, everybody is in. The one issue that sometimes I have is our firewalls, because sometimes the school's firewalls will not allow my emails through. So if you're not getting it and you're supposed to have gotten it, talk to your school district, maybe talk to your tech people and make sure that they mark the online itinerant as safe so that we can get through the firewalls. And there is a point also to make sure that that you're checking the right account. So sometimes people have multiple email accounts. Your account will be under only one. So you have to make sure that you're checking the right email. Okay. Let's see. So Kimberly, I see you're asking what group do you use that with? And I missed the chat. Which one are you, which question?
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can. Yes, thank you.
The video that you were showing about kids meeting the deaf.
I use it with all my ages because you could see those were little kids that were talking with her, but
There were a
every
few
student,
older.
yeah, there were some older ones too. I use that video with all ages, all of my students, because it's great discussion. And there were some little kids, and I think there were some. I think the one boy was 11, but he was kind of a mature 11. So it's. I've even used it with my high school students. Any student who feels kind of self-conscious about their hearing aids, it's a great discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jennifer says that I love that they connect with the transition goals for all ages too. Let me speak quickly about the transition goals. The transition goals is the biggest goal bank that's inside. But it starts in middle school and it incorporates self-advocacy. So if you're looking for self-advocacy skills, the self-advocacy starts preschool and goes all the way through elementary school. After that, once we get to middle school, the self-advocacy skills are embedded in the transition skills. So then the transition goes seventh all the way up to, or excuse me, sixth all the way up to high school graduation. So we're looking at about 6 or 7 skills a year if you were just going to plug away at that. And a lot of it also kind of incorporates some self-identity and some self-advocacy because that's all part of transition. So that's kind of like the biggest one. It's all embedded inside of there. So oh, great. I see a question about how to star a favorite training. So I want you to notice on the top of anything here, I've got something that's called my favorites. So if you don't want to scroll, if you're like, oh my gosh, if I have to scroll for this one more time, I'll go crazy, especially if it's something that you use a lot, or that you are still working on, then you're still working on it with a student. Anything that you click inside, you want to click the star. And now it's become your favorites. So now when you log into your account, it will be up on the top inside with your favorites. Oops, I must have to refresh here. Let's find it. Okay, there it is, right here for my favorites. If you're done with it, if you're like, whoops, all right, I'm all done with this. I don't need this to be on my favorites anymore. Then all you need to do is unstar it. And now it is gone from your favorites and it is right back where it was originally in the section in the toolbox. So let me just refresh my page and you'll see now that particular activity is gone. So that is how we mark our
Stephanie,
favorites. Yes.
for the training that you just showed me for the speech perception, how do I
Yes.
start that one? Because do I have to just click in further?
So you want to make sure. So the question is, how do I get to that training and how do I start it for the speech perception? So you're going to step 1, go to your library. Step 2, go to the on-demand trainings. By the way, I did not highlight this, but there is a little search bar up here, a magnifying glass. So if you're ever like, where was that? Then you should be able to search for it. So let me just put in here speech perception. Hopefully it will come up for us. And here we go. Okay, so here is our training from Julia West. Okay, so once you are in the training, then you can start it right here. And you can make it at, and that'll take you to that section. So then you'll start right there. It doesn't start it doesn't star the entire training. It just stars whatever section you added. But that would be where you would want to start and then you can move forward from there.
Okay, so it looks like I have to like click into it. I can't save the.
Yeah, you have to click
that.
into, you do have to click into
Okay.
it. Yep. Okay. I do notice some audios. Go ahead and you're welcome to unmute anytime you want, but if you're not wanting to unmute, then check your audio so that it's not picking up any background noise. Okay, so back to the questions. All right, I do see Elaine said, and I saw something today that was an assessment for students, teachers, and parents for the listening fatigue. Yes, you did. You sure did. And Kimberly said it's the Vanderbilt listening fatigue scale. So that is absolutely there for you inside the toolbox. And this one is nice because it gets you a like a nice, let me show it to you. We're going to go to the assessments and forms. Here you go, Vanderbilt fatigue scales. I've had a lot of people, I'm just taking a little side trip here. A lot of people have been asking about how do I assess ASL use of a child, of a student. This is a nice one that you can get a sense of their ASL skills, where they're at and what their needs are. It's not incredibly in depth, but it's a really nice it's beyond a screener. It gives you some good sense of what their skills are. But back to the Vanderbilt fatigue scale. When you click here, this has includes parent listening for parents and for students, different ages, and you can even get a digital report for it. So here you go. Here's pediatrics and adults. Good stuff here. Okay. Comment about Kendall. I use that with many of my moderately to severe students. It's really great and it helps you track their communication intent and growth. Yes, so I really love the Kendall. It was kind of created, it was definitely created for signing students, but I don't think I use it for all my students. You have to modify it slightly to show that it's if you're using a students who use listening and spoken language. Okay. So it looks to me like I have made it through all of the questions that we've had in the chat. So feel free, turn on your mic, ask me another question if you like, or put in the chat anything that you have that you are curious about. Or just to entertain me, something that you learned tonight that you saw that you're like, that's good to know. I'm happy I came. That's always helpful for me to see too.
This was very helpful for a new user. And now it's just finding the time to explore more of this, which is
Yes.
the difficult part.
So I have got a little hack for you. I have a little trick, especially when it comes to the toolbox, because there's a lot of goodies in the toolbox. So there's really my two favorite places to start. One is if you look at the assessments, there is the skills. There's like the skills assessment and then the different lessons underneath it. That's a really nice place to start because you can just go through that and be like, oh yeah, I'm working on this with my student. Here are all my lessons that I can use to click on to work within the toolbox there. Or the different trainings, because the trainings are in there too. So for example, speech perception, it will say, here's your training that will help you with that. Also, when it comes to the tools, I recommend that you bring the toolbox just like you would if you had a real toolbox and you would wanted to bring and see what the student wanted to play with and you wanted to kind of see what interested them. You can actually open up your computer and say, let's find some games inside the toolbox. And with your student, click around and play. And if you see something, try it out. See what sticks, see what's fun, and talk to them about it. Oh, what do you think? Is that a good thing for you? Or is that too little, too old? Oh, too old. Okay. But you're building that conversation with them as well. Yeah. So that doesn't add anything. You can do that with your students, right? That's actually a great activity, dialogue and discussion that you can do with your students as well.
I could do that with home visits too.
Oh, it is a great idea to do with home visits. Yeah.
That's for parents.
Great. Absolutely. Yeah. Totally. Love it.
Okay.
Love
Thank
it.
you.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Other questions for tonight?
Stephanie, it's Elaine. Would you mind reviewing? You would think I would have this down. There are like 3 or 4 things that are available to the parents if you're in the professional
let's talk about that. Yep.
The toolbox, the turn knowledge into action. What else?
Yes, I'm so glad that you asked that. Let me open it up and let's talk about it. Let me go back. So again, I just want to reiterate, I, I feel very strongly. I love connecting with parents. It is one of the most favorite parts of my job. It also is, I recognize, one of the most challenging parts, just if you have a big caseload or you've got students at the elementary level and beyond. It's different when they're little and you're making home visits and you're going, it's really easy to connect with parents and support them. It's harder once they enter the school system. And so this is one way that I want to support you to help you support your parents. Um, in if you are a professional, if you're a teacher here and you've got a membership to the Professional Academy, your parents can have free memberships to the Friend Academy. Everybody you get a coupon code for them, and each parent can have their own membership to the Friend Academy, which is typically $199 for a membership, just like your membership is as a professional. So what do parents get? So parents, it looks very similar. They get the join us on the T days. They have the teaching toolbox. They have the monthly trainings. Instead of having the green on-demand trainings, because these are typically our professional trainings, this picture should probably be updated. They have this one that's the Friend Academy. And they have this called the Turn Knowledge into Action. And I think everybody should have these virtual tips. I think this is more for teachers, but this one is for parents and the Friend Academy is for parents. So let me just show you what this is. Now, once you add your parents, professionals also have the Friend Academy, so you can see it also. The Friend Academy trainings were specifically created for parents to help them understand the impact of hearing loss on their child. So first of all, we've got 6 trainings that are all just like, they're not communication specific. It is like, what does this diagnosis of hearing loss mean? How is it going to impact my child? So it talks about the 6 barriers: communication and language, learning, the environment. So kind of what's around incidental learning and social emotional development. So the 5 barriers. And then here is like kind of a general, like 1 hour training. Like, how do I know? How do I know that this hearing loss is impacting my child? And then some trainings about summer and the holidays. If you've got parents, this one right now is a great training to lean into your parents about the holiday season for their children. It's very stressful for many kids with hearing loss. How they can just really lean into that and support that. And then this training on unilateral hearing. But then after that, we've got some extra ones. So there is a training on basically who's who. So that, parents are meeting SLPs and audiologists and special ed teachers and DHH teachers, and there are interpreters, and then they've got their clinical audiologists and it's very confusing. So this is a training just to kind of like help families understand who are these, what are the roles of each person that's at the table here. And then we've got some of these other trainings. Many of these are the same ones that are in the Professional Academy. So if it's geared towards parents and professionals, if it's not specific about doing assessments or doing IEPs or anything like that, if it's like, yeah, this is a good fit for parents also, then it is also in the Friend Academy. And you can share and you can each watch the same trainings. And then some different things about what is an IEP and who are these people? What's the 504? And then some language and literacy. So in any case, a lot of this overlaps with both of the trainings. Now the other thing that's in there is this one right here, turn knowledge into action. This is a fantastic training for parents. This is how it teaches them how to observe their child through the lens of hearing loss. So what they maybe missed before, what they never noticed, about how a child behaves when the family comes over, when it's a noisy environment, when they're outside. It gives them that observational lens so that they can see and know what to do, know how to support their child. So after you do an activity, how do you build those? Check for comprehension. How do you support their language? How do you make sure that they understood what all was going on? So that's also for parents. Okay. So, and that's what's inside the Friend Academy.
Sorry to interrupt.
Thank you so much, Steph.
Is this in Spanish as well?
We
Oh,
do not have it in Spanish right now. Now, all of the trainings are interpreted into sign language. So we do have that, but I don't have it in Spanish right now. But this is what I always love to tell people because I do get this question a lot. Um, if you have a Spanish interpreter, then you absolutely, we can get that Spanish interpreter connected with this for free. And then they can come and they can interpret, or we can even connect if anybody would be willing to help interpret some of these trainings or anything like that. Like I just need a person. I just need somebody to
Okay.
help. So if you know of anybody,
Okay.
let me know.
Would I
Yep.
contact you about that?
Yep, you can just contact me, Stephanie, at the online itinerant.
All right. Thank you.
Respond to any of the emails. Yep. All right. And the question is, I think that teachers in the mainstream need this too. Yeah. Yes, there are lots of opportunities for us to share with the mainstream teachers. What I have learned is that oftentimes being the contact point to be able to give the mainstream teachers kind of the important information tends to be a little bit more successful, so that you can connect together. But we do have a number of trainings to help you connect better with the mainstream teachers and be able to build that a better relationship to help with that. Okay, and I see a question. I'm sure that I will need some one-on-one time once I gain access. How do I set that up? And that is when you are actually, you can do it anytime. There's this one-on-one mentoring and job coaching. So just click on that and then you can set that up as well. So what I want to do right now is, if you are not yet a member of any of our programs, if you want to learn more about how to become a member, stay on. But otherwise, we are a couple minutes over our hour. So I just want to say thank you, thank you, thank you for joining tonight. We'll do this again next week, Tuesday. And make sure that you would come on Thursday for our upcoming training, because it's going to be really good. It's going to be really powerful and very, very informative. So, and you can invite your administrators for free. So if you are a parent or if you are a teacher and you're here and you want to make sure that your administrators attend, there is a coupon code, a link for your administrators to attend free, because we want to make sure your administrators get all the information too. So, all right. With that, everybody, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you again for all that you do. Thank you for just working with these amazing kids. And I know that you might be tired because it's exhausting, but you're doing a great job. And I am so happy to be able to walk alongside of you. And I thank you for all you're doing.